My name is Jeff.
Did you know that the average person walks past at least 16 murderers in their lifetime? Hello, and here are 50 weird and disturbing facts for you. Starting off with a creepy one. Honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still perfectly good to eat. Ever wondered why your nose gets stuffy one nostril at a time? It's because your nostrils split their workload. Throughout the day, they each take breaks in a process called the nasal cycle. Bananas are berries, but strawberries are not. In the botanical world, a berry has 3 distinct layers, and the seeds are inside. So strawberries don't make the cut. Speaking of fruit, tomatoes have more genes than humans. That's right. The humble tomato has around 7,000 more genes than you do. An octopus has 3 hearts and blue blood. 2 hearts pump blood to the gills, while the third pumps it to the rest of the body. Ever heard of the dancing plague of 1518? In Strasbourg, France, hundreds of people danced for days without rest, and some even died from heart attacks, strokes, or exhaustion. The shortest war in history lasted 38 minutes. It was between Britain and Zanzibar on August 27, 1896. Sharks can live for 5 centuries. Greenland sharks are known to live for over 500 years, making them the longest living vertebrates on Earth. Your body contains about 0.2 milligrams of gold, most of which is in your blood. An adult human is made up of 7 octillion atoms. That's a 7 with 27 zeros. Ever heard of a jiffy? It's an actual unit of time for 1/100th of a second. The smell of freshly cut grass is actually a plant distress call. What you're smelling is a compound plants release when in distress. Your brain is sometimes more active when you're asleep than when you're awake. The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. Yes, the mythical creature is a symbol of purity and beauty in Celtic mythology. An average cloud weighs about 1.1 million pounds. Imagine that floating above your head. Speaking of clouds, a lightning bolt is 5 times hotter than the sun. Ever wondered why dogs sniff each other's rears? They're actually gathering a lot of information about each other, as a dog's sense of smell is 10,000 times more powerful than a human's. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Quite fitting, don't you think? A jumbo jet's engines alone weigh almost 9,000 pounds, which is roughly the same weight as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The average person spends 6 months of their life waiting for red lights to turn green. Your fingernails grow 4 times as fast as your toenails. An ant can lift 50 times its own body weight. Talk about strength. Ever heard of the Great Emu War in Australia? In 1932, the Australian Army waged a war against emus that were destroying crops. Surprisingly, the emus won. Your heart beats over 100,000 times a day. The Eiffel Tower can be 15 centimeters taller during the summer. The iron expands and contracts with temperature changes. Ever heard of a bloop? It's a mysterious underwater sound detected by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, in 1997. Its origin remains unknown. A day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus. It takes 243 Earth days for Venus to complete 1 rotation, but only 225 Earth days to complete 1 orbit around the Sun. A cockroach can live for a week without its head. It only dies because without a mouth, it can't drink water. Speaking of insects, a mosquito's wings beat 300, 600 times per second. This is what creates that annoying buzzing sound. The human eye can distinguish between 10 million different colors. Ever wondered why cats purr? While they do purr when they're happy, they can also purr when frightened or injured. It's a way of communicating. Your taste buds are replaced every 2 weeks, so if you burn your tongue on hot coffee, don't worry, it'll heal quickly. Ever heard of the loneliest creature on Earth? It's a whale that has been calling out for a mate for over 2 decades, but its high-pitched voice is unlike any other whale's, so it remains alone. Speaking of whales, a blue whale's heart is so massive that a human can swim through its arteries. Your body produces enough heat in only 30 minutes to boil a half-gallon of water. Ever heard of the Devil's Kettle? It's a waterfall in Minnesota that splits into 2. One side continues its course while the other side falls into a hole and disappears. Scientists still don't know where it goes. A crocodile cannot stick its tongue out. It's attached to the roof of its mouth, so it doesn't move. Ever heard of a sun sneeze? Some people sneeze when they look at the sun or a bright light. It's called the photic sneeze reflex, and it affects up to 1/3 of the population. Your brain can generate enough electricity to power a light bulb. Ever wondered why pirates wore eye patches? It's not always because they lost an eye. By wearing a patch, one eye would always be adjusted to the darkness, allowing them to see below deck quickly. Speaking of eyes, ostriches have eyes that are bigger than their brains. Ever heard of the door to hell? It's a natural gas field in Turkmenistan that has been burning since 1971. It was set on fire to prevent the spread of methane gas, and it has been burning ever since. The human liver has over 500 functions and is the only organ that can regenerate itself fully. Ever wondered why yawning is contagious? It's a mystery, but some scientists believe it's a form of social bonding or a subconscious form of communication. A snail can sleep for 3 years. Talk about a long nap. Ever heard of the immortal jellyfish? It's a species of jellyfish that can revert to its child state after maturing, essentially making it immortal. A bolt of lightning contains enough energy to toast 100,000 slices of bread. That's a lot of breakfast. Ever wondered why we say bless you when someone sneezes? It dates back to the plague when sneezing was a sign of illness. Saying bless you was a wish for good health. Speaking of sneezing, you can't sneeze with your eyes open. Your eyes automatically close to protect them. Finally, did you know that a moment is an actual unit of time? It's 90 seconds. So the next time someone asks for a moment of your time, you know exactly what they mean. And there you have it. 50 weird or disturbing facts that might just keep you up at night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more mind-bending content. Until next time, keep questioning the world around you.